Die Hard literally exists because of the relationship between John and Holly. Without that, John never leaves NYC. There's nothing to send him on his hero's journey, as the latte jockeys say. But this relationship is widely misconstrued. Susan Jeffords sees Holly as a combination of feminism and Japanese corporate clout, quote, both trying to destroy the fabric of American patriarchal capitalism, who is then conquered by John in, quote, a resounding victory for the new right Reagan definition of family, when Holly reintroduces herself as McClane in the finale. The New Yorker's Richard Brody says, the very theme of the movie is violence as redemption. It is only by means of his heroic effort to fight the terrorists that McClane saves his marriage. I get the point of view, but not the redemption. Let me explain. Objectively, McClane sucks at being a husband. His makeup gift is a giant carnival bear you'd bribe the crooked ring toss guy for. Oh, you think it's for his kids? Great. 2 kids, 1 bear. How's that gonna work out? Considering Holly's the one who'll have to moderate that dispute, it's probably worse. The marriage-saving read also strips Holly of agency. I mean, isn't it possible she used McClane because it was easier than explaining different names for the 20,000th time to some stranger whose business it really isn't anyway? And sure, Holly's concerned about whether John will make it to the party.
Did Mr. McClane call?
She gets that breathless moment when they meet, but it's just that, a moment. When McClane goes in for the kiss, she gives him the ear. What about that watch? McClane symbolically freeing Holly from the chains of working womanhood so she can go be barefoot in the kitchen? No, Holly doesn't make the watch a thing earlier.
Well, go on, show him. What are you, embarrassed?
And it's because it's a trinket.
It's just a small token of appreciation for all our hard work.
You don't show appreciation with a watch, you show it with a promotion. And this woman is focused.
It's okay, I have my eye on his private bathroom.
The rest of this scene is telling too. Holly casually extends an olive branch.
Why don't we make it easy? I have a spare bedroom.
An amorous couple bursts in an obvious metaphor, but John can't help himself.
I guess you didn't miss my name, though, huh?
Holly tries to be logical.
It's a Japanese company.
But then shuts his dumbass down.
I know exactly what your idea of our marriage should be.
Just in time for a pregnant woman to interrupt, alone, a sharp reality check on that earlier intrusion. Then there are Argyle's drop-off lines.
So your lady sees you, you run into each other's arms, the music comes up, and you live happily ever after, right?
I can live with that.
To me, his tone questions a literal reading, and Argyle represents a generation with more realistic relationship views.
In other words, you thought she wasn't gonna make it out here, and she'd come crawling up back to you, so why bother to pack, right?
Plus, skewering the idealized happily ever after outcome is as old as Buster Keaton, who did it twice before movies even had sound. Describing the genesis of the John-Holly dynamic, screenwriter Jeb Stewart says, I got in a fight with my wife and said, screw this. I didn't apologize, she was right and I was wrong. Before he could make amends, Stewart had a near-death experience on the highway and afterward pulled his car over thinking, I know what this movie is about. And I see that about as owning up to your mistakes to someone you care about, not compelling them back through the righteousness of your redemption. John does make good, although he still only really apologizes to Al, but Holly's smart enough to not be married to a guy who needs a hostage crisis to apologize, even if he does seem to have a lot of them in his life.
How could the same shit happen to the same guy twice?
Certainly the sequels seem to support my thoughts on this.
And how's Holly? Well, that's sad. You're divorced.
Now, stepping outside the fictional reality of this film, Bonnie Bedelia is on record as saying she's only in one sequel because of ageism. And unlike the bear and the ear and the Rolex, Argyle's happily ever after speech was one of D'Souza's additions, which, just go watch the script episode. Plus, John McTiernan did 12 months in federal prison for lying to the FBI about tapping an ex-wife's phone, while producer Joel Silver's record isn't exactly sterling. But as McTiernan notes, at a certain point the film becomes what it is, rather than what you intended. And taking the work as its own entity outside its creator's flaws and prejudices, in a world where a woman can make her own decisions, Holly's kissing John in the back of the limo doesn't redeem anything. I'm Cosmo Catalano. Until next time, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.